Is employee engagement in your organization something that you think about and would like to affect in a positive way? Let's look at the latest stats on engagement, some factors that are contributing to a recent decline in this video, and I'll also share my 6-step framework on how you can raise employee engagement for good. Employee engagement, it's a big topic and so important because you want people who wake up in the morning feeling energized about going to work and they feel excited about the work that they do. They'd like to attract other great people into the company through their referrals. They see a long future for themselves at your organization. We want engaged employees, right? But what can you do to ensure that more employees are engaged? We'll talk about that in a minute, but first, I want you to understand where engagement rates are now. The Gallup organization regularly surveys employee engagement, and what they found is somewhat alarming. The rate currently is at its lowest point in the last 10 years. It stands at 30%. This means that only 3 in 10 employees surveyed are engaged in their work. Now, your rate may be higher, possibly even lower. That's an average, but it's something to keep in mind that this may be an effect that you're seeing in your organization, that employee engagement has steadily been declining over the last few years. It peaked at 36% during the pandemic. That may have been because organizations during the pandemic took extraordinary steps to show that they cared for their employees and made all kinds of changes to accommodate them. That probably felt quite attractive to the employees who were able to keep their jobs during the pandemic. They were thankful and appreciative, and thereby their engagement rates actually went up. But since then, as you know, it's declined to a 10-year low. What's contributing to this precipitous decline? Well, there are a few different factors that Gallup identified that may be worth understanding. First factor is younger employees. People under 35, their engagement rates are down 5 points. Particularly Gen Z employees were down 6 points. They feel less connected to their company's culture. Keep that in mind. We're going to come back to that when I talk about my 6-step framework to raise employee engagement. The second factor was that employees who could do their jobs remotely but were asked to work on site 5 days a week, well, their engagement rates were also down 6 points. You can imagine what's going through the mind of someone who could be doing their job remotely, but is being told you must come into the office 5 days a week. And they may be also looking at other organizations that are instituting work from home privileges and flexible work arrangements and wondering, why can't my organization do that? That makes me feel less appreciated and less engaged. The third factor is employees who work exclusively from home. Contrastedly, they're down 5 points in engagement. Why might that be? They're being given ultimate flexibility. Well, remember the earlier factor about Gen Z employees not feeling connected to the company's culture? I think this may have something to do with the reduction in engagement for fully remote employees. Maybe it's not the best solution because they are not seeing their coworkers in person. They're not having random conversations, social conversations that build trust and rapport and connectedness. They're not having just casual conversations with senior employees who might mentor them and offer them good career advice. These before and after chit chats that happen around meetings just aren't happening usually when you're fully remote. And so they feel disconnected and disengaged. So those are a few factors that are contributing to this decline based on Gallup's research. Now, let's get to the solution though. What could you do to raise employee engagement in your organization and really affect it over the long term? Well, I have a 6-step framework that I call RAISED. I believe if you follow this framework, you will find that your engagement has been raised. First letter, R. It's relate. Relate to each employee on an individual level. Now, of course, you as a leader are not able to do that. In a large organization, it's just not possible. But it should happen at some level that every person has a manager, every person has a coworker, every person is part of a team. all of those units should be making an effort to relate to individuals and to connect with them and get to know them. Because the more we feel we know the people we work with and they understand us as a person and as a whole person, the more connected we feel with the organization. A stands for align. Align the person with the organization's culture and the mission of the organization. This starts during the interview phase. When you're interviewing someone, ensure that they're not just a skill and tactical fit, but they're also a cultural fit. Do they align with the values of the organization? Do they get excited about the mission of the organization? Well, they should, or they shouldn't be hired. And once they're brought in, ensure that they understand how they fit in to the overall vision for where the company is going and how they contribute to the achievement of the mission of the organization. By doing this regularly, they will feel more connected to the company's culture. This seems to be especially important with younger workers. Next in the acronym is I, which is invest. Invest in their skill and character development by providing training, coaching, and mentoring. By doing this, people will feel that the organization cares about them, is interested in developing them for future opportunities, and is making a real effort to help them to just feel that they are a learning and growing person within this organization. That will also strengthen the alignment and the relatedness. Next is S. Show them the way in a career path that goes up to higher levels in the organization. When people don't have a clear career path, that often leads to disengagement, disenchantment, disillusionment, and probably they will leave. If they don't have a clear career path, at some point after being disengaged for a period, they will just go ahead and leave and go to an organization that does have a clear career path for them. So make sure you focus on showing them the way. And then the E stands for extend trust. Extend trust and give them autonomy to do their jobs with flexible arrangements. People want trust from their superiors. They want trust from their teammates. They want to be given autonomy. This is very important. And they also want that trust to extend to flexible work arrangements. So do whatever you can to make this a reality. And then the D stands for deliberately acknowledge their contributions whenever it's appropriate to do so. I made a video earlier on this channel, it was about a year ago now, on one factor that seems to significantly raise employee engagement, and that's showing appreciation. When you acknowledge an employee's contributions and you regularly praise them for real efforts, real achievement, not just for showing up to work, but for real contributions. When you deliberately go out of your way to acknowledge them, they will feel it. They will know it and they will appreciate it, and they will give more discretionary effort to you in return, and their engagement will go up. So if you follow the 6-step framework of this RAISE acronym, I believe that you'll find greater success in your organization as it relates to increasing employee engagement. I hope this video has given you a lot of food for thought and a clear pathway to raise employee engagement in your organization. For further research, look at Gallup's website and their data related to employee engagement and some of the tools that they have. And also consider hiring me to coach you or your team on how to be the type of leader people would want to follow and work for and work with eventually as they rise up in the organization as a truly engaged employee. I'd be happy to talk with you. Visit my website, BAECexecutiveCoach.com, to learn more about my services and to request a meeting time with me through my calendar or through the contact form. If you've liked the video, please do like it, comment on it, and share it with others. And of course, subscribe to the channel as more videos are on the way. Here's to you raising employee engagement in your organization. Thank you very much.